You ready for some good holiday news here? You can put this up on the screen from CNBC or NBC, one of the two. Anyway, apparently, according to them, the cost of this year's Thanksgiving dinner is, they describe it as historically affordable. So they say the cost of this year's holiday feast estimated at $58 for a 10-person gathering or $5.81 a head, dropped 5% since last year, and that is the lowest level since 2021, according to a nationwide survey of grocery prices. They go on to say if your dollar had the same overall purchasing power as a consumer in 1984, this would be the least expensive Thanksgiving meal in the 39-year history of this Thanksgiving survey outside of the pandemic outlier of 2020. Thanksgiving food prices are up 19% since 2019. However, household wages have grown by about 25% during the same period. What's more, they say the average American also has to work fewer hours to buy the same meal than in previous years. So I'm sure Emily Trump will already take credit. He's already solved our economic woes. Thanksgiving is already historically affordable. All we had to do was vote Donald Trump back into office.
I saw some people really dunking on this article on X, this NBC claim, and there are a lot of other outlets who have done the same sort of look at the basket of goods, and it's not surprising at all, Krystal, because we obviously have seen inflation decreasing, but why it probably is getting dunked on is that as inflation decreases, it's not going to where it was yet before the pandemic. So it still feels really high to a lot of people. And Lending Tree did a survey. And the Lending Tree survey found that costs would be up 19% from a year ago. So they're saying that costs are up. But what was interesting about this survey is it asked people what they plan to spend. And when you're just doing the kind of basket, people are like, oh, the NBC one doesn't even include pies, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of interesting to look at what people say they plan to spend. And apparently if you're hosting, people say they plan to spend $431 on food, drinks, and decor for the celebration. That's an average of $265 just for food and drinks. And they expect to host on average 11 guests. So kind of interesting. Inflation was on the minds of 60% of respondents who said it has impacted their plans for celebrating the holiday, with 27% saying they'll change food choices, 26% turning to more coupons, and 9% declining to host due to costs. That is actually not surprising to me at all, Krystal, because honestly, for the media, I think it's really dangerous to write stories like this and then bury in the NBC report all the way down at the end. I mean, this is like at least more than halfway through the story. And indeed, while Thanksgiving food prices are up 19% since 2019, according to the same data, household wages have been growing by 25% during the same period. It's like, that's at the end of your story?
Well, the other thing is, on average, wages have grown that much, but you may not be one of those people who participated in the wage growth that is higher than what inflation has been. So the picture may be very uneven depending on where you are and, how significant these food costs are, obviously, to your overall budget. But I have to say, when I saw $58 for a 10-person gathering, that seems really like that would be difficult to achieve, for 10 people to feed them for $58. If you're, all the traditional Thanksgiving fixings that you think about, I feel like that wouldn't even come close to being able to really meet the mark. They went through some of these different holiday deals that they're having at Walmart, and Aldi, I think, was another one where they'll give you some bundle of goods. And I think that's part of what they built into their affordability calculus here. But yeah, I don't think that most people, if you just ask them, is this going to be the most affordable Thanksgiving in history? I don't think that they would really be feeling that.
No. And I get why the stories get written this way, but in them, it was sort of like the people have Trump nostalgia line that we heard a lot of Democrats using during the course of the campaign, which is people don't understand. It's like, well, no, people do understand. It's just they remember in very recent history before the pandemic when their financial health was better, and they're comparing the last several years to that. So inflation can come down, but it's not enough for people who remember the economy before all of these totally corporate corrupted supply chains exploded. and government shut down businesses, et cetera, and had this ripple effect on the economy that they're still feeling today. Like it's a huge part of the story that the media will write about, they'll cover it, they understand it intellectually, but it doesn't quite penetrate the same way it does for average Americans.
So Emily, I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite Thanksgiving side dishes or main dishes? What do you look forward to?
Krystal, what an insufferable question.
We're going to do cringe morning show Thanksgiving content.
We'll do it, but I'm going to call you out on it. I don't know. I like mashed potatoes and gravy. I like pumpkin pie.
That's a good go-to. Would you say apple pie?
Pumpkin pie. I like a pumpkin pie. Are you an apple pie person?
I mean, I actually think I'm more of a pecan pie person, which even the pronunciation of which is controversial. Pecan versus pecan. Kyle's a pecan guy. I'm a pecan person. This is a source of strife in our marriage. I think I'd have to say, so we're going to Kyle's family this year. We're going to be at his mom's house, but the two dishes that I love the most are, there's no offense to Kyle's mom and her cooking, I'm just not as, I didn't grow up with it, so it doesn't have quite the same emotional resonance for me as my own mother's cooking. My mom's stuffing, and my sister makes this sweet potato casserole that is unbelievable. It's got so much butter, so much brown sugar, and then the pecans on top. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's always the first thing to go.
That's what I usually make when I'm home, and it's the Trisha Yearwood sweet potato souffle recipe, and it's insane. It's insane. It's a cake, but you're just putting it on your plate basically next to turkey, and it's totally fine. It's the one day a year where it's totally fine.
Yeah, my mom also makes a great cranberry relish that's really nice and tart and goes so perfectly with everything. Ooh. Yeah, and it's right. She only makes it at Thanksgiving, so it's you get excited for it. It's the
same thing with stuffing, right? Good stuffing. First of all, you only eat stuffing on Thanksgiving, and second of all, when it's good, it's really good.
Okay, but I want to normalize eating stuffing year round, because even just the stovetop, easy, so simple, low budget, and it hits. It hits. It's good.
It does, I think it goes, you eat it year
can
round?
Go anytime. Do I eat it year round? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the first person I've ever heard give that answer. I'm sure we'll be flooded with comments of people saying, I do that too, Krystal. Thank you. You've made me feel so much more secure in my own skin.
Yeah, stovetop is delicious. It's not my mom's stuffing, but stovetop is delicious. And if RFK Jr. wants to take that away from me, there will be hell to pay.
He does. I'm sure he does. I can't imagine what's in that stuff.
That's the other thing is it's all well and good to be oh, we should eat healthy or whatever. When you start trying to take away people's Fritos and, Hostess cupcakes or whatever, I think there's going to be a very different reaction. Remember the freak out over Bloomberg trying to take away the sodas?
Yes.
That was a national scandal.
Were take it from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah, that was a national outrage. People were furious. And it wasn't even you can't have soda. It was if you want to have a giant soda, you're going to have it in multiple cups.
Right.
And it was a pure fury across the nation. So
it sure
I don't know.
Was.
I don't know if he's ready for that.
You know who else wants to take it away from you is Sagar.
True.
True. No, I think I mentioned this story the other week, but when I was in London recently, my friends and I went, and they bought Sour Patch Kids or something, and they were really excited about it and started eating the Sour Patch Kids and didn't realize that you couldn't use half the ingredients that you use in U.S. Sour Patch Kids in the U.K., and they just spit them out. They're these are so disgusting. Yeah. So, again, there's some good and there's some bad.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, Emily. And thank you to everybody out there so much. We are so grateful for your continued support and trust in the show. And it's going to be really interesting times moving forward. There's not going to be any shortage, certainly, of things to talk about. So thank you guys out there. Very grateful for you. And we will see you guys back here next week.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.